Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host Ben and Sean down below, who is reposting the stream. We are back for another episode, and as always, we're back with another commitment. Notre Dame recruiting continues on its hot streak. Obviously, it feels like this might be the final piece of the 2026 DB class. But anyways, guys, it's been a week. How are you guys doing? Go ahead, Sean. All right, Ben, go ahead. Jesus Christ.
Doing good. Oh, wait, one second here. Let me fix my mic so y'all can hear me.
You're good.
Hi, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
But doing good, just got a pretty good safety in the class, Got to tell Fravel about how these new rivals updates don't mean anything and they're really dumb, and I don't care about them, even though he doesn't shut about them.
Oh, yeah.
I care about them.
It's
well, good for you guys.
Great weekend. We saw Superman, like I told you before. Great time. And then just hanging out, ready for him. We're itching closer to football season, so getting antsy for it.
Yeah, we are 47 days away from week one. So looking forward to it. Let's talk about the commitment that Notre Dame just got in, three-star safety Nick Reddish. I still personally think is underrated, but as Ben likes to say, I say this about every single Notre Dame recruit.
Well, no, I was gonna say, can you tell me a player who was overrated by Notre Dame recruiting this year?
Yeah, or a player that every time there's a 3-star recruit, Ryan says, this player is drastically underrated.
Yeah, this guy should be Well, he got lucky on rivals putting Grayson as a 5-star.
I did. I did call it, and then Ben was like, "Fuck, man, we can't." He was like, "Man, you didn't say that. You didn't say the 5-star." I'm like, "Fucking yes, I did. I had to put the receipts because I had them." So no, but yeah, what do you guys think?
Worst goddamn thing I've ever seen. Fravel being correct.
I know. What are your guys' thoughts on Reddish, Sean?
Yeah, I think this is a great get. I think it's very underrated. I think that it's a big depth piece. It reminds me a lot of, I think Schuler, even though he was a 4-star compared to a 3-star, a lot of people weren't hype about him, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone was just like, oh, safety, guy that came in, you talked about underweight, and then he built all that up. This is a guy that I could see, I'm not comparing him to Schuler play-wise. I'm comparing him to Schuler fan base-wise, how it felt like fans weren't really all that pumped or hyped like they are like Blair or, all these players. So, O'Brien. So I think that fan base right now, it doesn't seem like everyone's just like, oh, but we're so like another piece of the puzzle. But I think that this guy, when he's probably a upperclassman, like a junior, senior, we'll see him as a guy that I think he's going to be a great special teams contributor right away. And I think that he will be a big time player when he's an upperclassman. I do think it's going to take some development, but especially with the safeties we got in this class and defensive backs, but I think he's going to be somebody to watch out for. What do you think, Ben?
I'm just looking at his tape here. A lot of it seems like he's got the mental game down a decent amount. He's able to read. He's able to do just all the mental. He's always I understand it's the highlights. Of course, he's got to find the ball in the highlights. He's always finding his way to get to the ball. But a lot of the highlights, like we saw one, he chased down a kid. He was on the other side of the field, and he chased him down from their side. That's just athletic ability. So this could be a guy come, like we said, junior, senior year, could be a game changer for us. It could also be a kid that comes out freshman year and does a lot of how we're saying on special teams, maybe sophomore year special teams, and certain situations where you have to go more deeper into your lineup. and make plays probably around. I would say that would probably be more sophomore year. I don't know about freshman year just because we have a pretty good DB class right now, and that would mean our DBs would have to, our DB, our secondary class right now, that would mean our
They'd all have
secondary
to
kind of
tear
have to
their
be down.
ACLs. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that we're not sports talk. We're not sports talk jury. We don't say that here.
I agree.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I think, I think he's kind of around that, lower 4-star range. I do think for me, it sounds like he's going to be more of like a slot guy in the defensive backfield, which I kind of see because I think him being 5'11", like as a safety, I guess you would like to be like at least 6 foot. So I think like him being 5'11", and just the way he reads and reacts, I would personally like him a lot more at slot, which I think is the plan going forward. But I think I agree with you guys. I think he's going to be a main contributor on special teams, early on. And then I think by the time he gets to that what's crazy is like, Sean mentioned junior, senior year. I feel like now with Mike Mickens, that development has rapidly increased. Like, who would have sat here and thought 2 years ago that we'd be talking about Luke Talich, who was a walk-on, possibly starting at free safety? And who would have thought that Carson Hobbs, only being in the system for less than a year, would be possibly pushing Christian Gray for a cornerback 2 spot? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so that's why I think Nick Reddish, I like his size, I like his frame, I like his athletic ability. You give him slot, which slot's been one of those positions where Notre Dame kind of just went to the portal and filled with guys every year. Maybe he's that stopgap where like you take another portal guy and then it's Reddish's time and you got your starting slot guy for the next. Yeah. So I like it a lot.
You think Hobbs? Do you think Hobbs is going to beat out Christian Gray?
We've talked about this. I feel like, and
I've not talked about this.
Oh no, me and Ben have talked about this. Oh. Like we talked about it very briefly, but like if Christian Gray continues to have struggles against like if we play Miami, right? Miami's gotta have explosive receivers. If Gray gets beat like he did against Ohio State and USC,
yeah,
then I could see where it could be kind of a Jaden Mickey situation where Carson Hobbs is right there and you kind of give Carson Hobbs some rotation and maybe he starts playing better than Gray.
Yeah, I could see rotation. I think, it's so, I love Christian Gray, especially as a prospect. It really felt like as a freshman and sophomore or before last year, like everyone was so excited about him because he looked so good. And it definitely looked like at moments he regressed a little. I don't know if it's because with BMO getting hurt and Mickey leaving, he felt like he had to step up, right? A lot of guys couldn't really rotate in like that. I do think Hobbs will definitely rotate in. I mean, let's not forget if it wasn't for Gray, we wouldn't have that Penn State moment, right? So I think that he has the tools and with the experience, I don't see him not starting, right? I definitely see him as the main 2. With Hobbs being the guy, all right, you need rest to rotate in. But I just don't see it. It'll take him being really bad. Like, who was that corner like 5 years ago?
Clarence Lewis.
Clarence Lewis. That was I was thinking of another one, but that's Clarence Lewis. He looked great early on, then he regressed and fell off. So I think that it would really take a lot of regression for him to be benched.
And I want to get Ben's take on this, but like I just think that this is the problem with Gray. There's no in between. It's either you have moments against Penn State, makes a game-winning play because of his aggressive nature, or on the other side of it, it's the national championship game where again that's not all completely on him, but he sits on a go route. And gives Jeremiah Smith the easiest go route catch of his life, right?
That ball was in the air for 10 years.
That's the type of stuff that there's no in between. It's either he's making a pick and he's taking it back to the house against USC, or he's getting cooked by Dylan Bell in the Georgia game, and he gets so lucky that Dylan Bell drops that pass because he got absolutely torched on that play. That's where I'm at with Christian Gray. Ben, what do you think?
My main thing with Gray is like when it comes to finding corners who are aggressive, that's what you're going to have. They're aggressive corners. For example, Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs has so many stupid plays, but it's because he's so aggressive, and his athletic ability can make up for it sometimes. Sometimes Christian Gray's athletic ability makes up for the times he has dumb plays, and then other times you're just playing someone who's that much better. He can't have that. To be honest with you, Jeremiah Smith thing, I don't blame it on Graham. I blame it on the guy who's guarding Jeremiah Smith. Christian Gray should have not been guarding Jeremiah Smith on that play. We all know it. Leonard Moore should have been on Jeremiah Smith, and we all thought it. I guarantee you, if anyone, the moment that we saw zero blitz, we were like, why the fuck is Leonard Moore dead on Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, I don't mind him on Jeremiah Smith as long as he had help over top, right? But on one-on-one, I do completely agree with you. Like, it should have been more. 100%.
Yeah, if you were gonna call a cover zero all out blitz for one play, you're gonna have Leonard Moore on Jeremiah Smith, and you live with the result of Christian Gray on who was the other guy, Carnell Tate. Like you live with that result.
You said who was Carnell Tate? Like we weren't all hyped.
No, but no, like I think with it's, I view it the same because obviously I think Christian Gray is. I think we've said it multiple times in the spaces. He's great. He's a great corner against 95% of college football. Great corner against 95%. That other 5% is when he plays an elite level receiver.
Yeah.
And it's just like Drew Aller.
Yeah.
It's like Drew quarterback against every other team except for the top 5 defenses, maybe top 10 defenses.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut out. I don't know what happened there.
And I also think maybe as a fan base, it sticks out more Gray's deficiencies because you have on the other side a guy Leonard Moore who is now starting to get that BMO treatment where teams just refuse to throw it to his side of the field. And so with that comes who are they going to target more? Leonard Moore or Christian Gray? So which opens to more targets, which then leaves you more likely to get cooked. There's more reps thrown your way. That's why I feel like maybe it's exposed more. But that's why, again, I wish we would have got to see the pairing of Leonard Moore and Ben Morrison because then you wouldn't have that problem.
Leonard Moore would have never played as much as he did.
Hey, that's what's crazy. That's the other part of he would have never saw the field probably.
Well, and that was one thing. I remember when Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant played together. Sauce Gardner is the same thing. Don't throw the ball that side of the field. Everywhere else, it's okay. So Kobe Bryant would get targeted almost triple the amount as a normal corner. So and people would be like, oh, he's allowing all these bad plays. I'm like, is he really, though? Because on average, he's not. But I don't know what the stats are of Christian Gray and all that.
Yeah,
but I remember that.
It looks that way because, Leonard Moore is getting 2-3 targets a game and Christian Gray's getting 10, so it's like he allowed 3 catches because he's getting 10 targets, like 70% success rate.
I also thought it was criminal in the Ohio State game. Leonard Moore was only on Jeremiah Smith 15% of all snaps in that game. That's criminal. And I get part of it was Ohio State's offense and how it's predicated on motion, getting guys out of position, and Notre Dame was trying to switch late. A lot of times, that's why you get the Christian Gray jumping up and down, pointing at Jeremiah Smith, which looks so bad. But I get that, but that's just a game plan thing. You have a lockdown corner and Leonard Moore. You have him maybe not follow, but any chance you get, he needs to be on Jeremiah Smith or at least have eyes on Jeremiah Smith.
All right, what's our next topic? Our the updated ranking?
Right. Yeah, so let's get into it. So on 3, well, it's so confusing because it's not on 3 anymore. Even though
it's still on 3.
It's on 3, but it's not on 3.
It's Rivals rankings, but it's technically owned by On 3.
Yeah.
Right?
So are the Rivals? Are the On 3 scouts now work? They now work for Rivals.
I think it's like a. It's like a what do you call it? Combination.
Yeah.
I want to say.
So now we have one less recruiting site now to balance
Yeah.
rankings. It's back to what it was before on 3.
One less recruiting site to hear Frable be like, "Oh, this is so dumb. They got so and so as a 3-star."
This is great for rivals because let's be honest, it became a point where it was on 3 and 24/7 that nobody was using rivals anymore. Let's be real. Nobody was using rivals for the last few years, so this is big for them to kind of be relevant again.
Yeah. So obviously
Zoom
they
in.
only rank the top 300. Now I had some people complain because technically the guys that I listed as 5 stars are not technically 5 stars. But that's because on 3 and or rivals doesn't fill out all 32 of their 5-star spots until the end of the year because one, engagement. But anyway, so I gave them the 5-star because if the class ended today, if you're in the top 32, you're a 5-star. So based off of that, as of right now, if the class were to end today, Notre Dame has 4 5-star players in this
Ryan,
class.
sorry, just to make sure, is this just the rivals rankings,
just
or
rivals.
Okay, cool.
Just rivals, yeah. Well, so and just to reiterate, on 3 bought rivals, but these are on 3's rankings, but they're labeled as rivals rankings. Don't know why they did it that way, but it is what it is. Anyway, obviously Rodney Dunham moved up, but dropped at the same time. He moved up from the 12th overall player to 6th, dropped from the number 2 edge to the number 3 edge. One that I beat my chest about is Grayson McHugh, who had the biggest jump of any recruit in the Rivals 300, all the way from, I believe it was I want to say outside the top 200 to number 13 in the nation.
Can you zoom in, Ryan?
Yeah, I can. Which is absolutely crazy. What are your guys' thoughts on Dunham and Grayson? So it was just those 2 so far.
Yeah, I got a golden brick for all these rankings to go up. I know Ben doesn't care, but it's great to see. It's great to see Notre Dame recruiting well. And I mean, I saw Mike Singer post saying Notre Dame had 1 top 50 player last year, or it was 2 last year, 1 the year before, and having 6 combined in this class, top 50 players. That is insane. We probably have more top 50 players in this class than in the last 4 years, 5 years. It's insane. It really is. And I mean, Grayson moving up as much as he did is surprising, but I'm not saying I don't love it. I love it, but I knew he'd move up to a top 100 player. I didn't think top 20, right? I don't think anyone thought top 15, but it's funny because on 3 or rivals, they always typically every year, there's just a Notre Dame offensive lineman that they're like, this guy's a 5-star, and that guy always ends up good, whether it's Wagner or Charles Jagasaw, or it's just, and other websites or other sites will have him as a 4-star, and then they're like, no, this guy's a 5-star talent. They end up good. So I definitely, for offensive linemen, like to use the on 3 rankings, but this was a huge surprise. I mean, were you surprised, Ben, to see him move up 250 slots?
Yeah, let's just say this. When I read that, I swear to God, I thought that meant position or something else, or region, not even state, but region. I'm 13. I love it. I love that we have guys who are getting respect. I love it. I think he's really. I would say he's probably a top 50 player in the country. Definitely a top 10 offensive tackle. Definitely a top. I'd probably put him in the top 5 area of offensive tackle. It's just looking at the rankings, just because we see Dunham. Dunham dropped, didn't he? Was he 5th?
So no, he moved up in overall ranking, but he dropped in edge ranking.
Okay, wait. Carter jumped in front of him.
Yeah, Carter Meadows jumped in front of him.
Okay, that's what it was. So that's where I'm more shocked on it, is that we have so many kids, and of course this is who knows if when they actually do the 5 stars, if these kids will stay where they are. They obviously could. They obviously could not. But it's just weird looking at it, and we'll get more down the list, and I'll give my more reasons on it. Just seeing where he went and then seeing where the other guys in his state went who got put in different places. And maybe it's just rivals really likes him. Like we said it, he's a top athlete. He's got the intangibles. And the biggest thing is he just last year was for sure playing offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's a big thing.
And me and you and Ben talked about this. Like we talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago when he committed. Like we all thought if he was a class of 27 kid, no doubt 5-star potential, right? Like we all agree.
Like our idea was like, okay, he's gonna get if he was class 27, he get 2 more years of playing offensive tackle.
Yeah, but I didn't personally think he'd end up. I said he had 5-star potential. I didn't think he would ever get that 5-star or get that close to like 5-star status. I thought maybe top 50, kind of like what you said, Ben. At the most, maybe top 50. But clearly, they saw enough of his first year at offensive tackle that they really see it with him. And we know what's wild is, and we'll get down the list here. I know a lot of people are going to throw a fit about Joey O'Brien's ranking.
Yeah, I was about to say Adams over O'Brien. That's really
what's crazy is that Joey O'Brien, according to Rivals, isn't even the best player on his team, his high school team. Like, let that sink in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, LaSalle they better win a state championship if they got 2 5-star quality guys on their high school team. Like, but yeah, I mean, let's continue down the list. Ebenezer Iwatani, he's been in that top 30 for a while. I think this is the first time that Rivals has had him as a 5-star caliber player. I think Steve Wolfong said Notre Dame has the best edge duo. We're in the class in the nation, which is crazy and it probably is true. And then obviously tight end Ian Premer, which was a big surprise just a couple weeks ago. 5-star tight end now. I thought maybe he could get a 5-star. I didn't necessarily know because tight end's kind of a weird position. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Iwatani and Premer? Any thoughts?
Yeah, Premer, I don't know if he should be above Adams and O'Brien. I definitely think that positional-wise, he's definitely a top 3 tight end and definitely could be a top 26 player in the nation. I'm so high on Joey O'Brien that seeing him at 47 with Premer in front of him, I'm a little like I would swap them personally. Those are the 2 I would swap. But it's nice to see us get the respect that we deserve at the edge position. Ebenezer is super talented. I mean, you could probably. It's interesting because our defensive line group is set for the next few years. I viewed Ebenezer as a top 25 player, and I'm not shocked that he's already a top 20 player. I mean, when he was, what was he before, like 45, right?
He was like 30. So 30? He moved up 10 spots.
Yeah, it's deserved. He's super talented. What do you think, Ben?
I'm just looking. I saw Premer up there. I'm just trying to see who's in front of Premer. I know Bowman is. Oh, Harrison is Oregon commit. Okay. The whole Premer's kind of like, I don't know. A lot of these is I don't know because I don't really know how Rivals decides it. Ebenezer, like Wolfong said, we possibly have the best edge rushing duo recruit wise. So that makes sense. Like I agree with that 100%. Putting him in the top 30. Premer top 30, I'd understand. I don't know if he's worse than Harrison Henderson. I don't want to mess up the kid's name. Harrison, Kendra Harrison. I don't know if he's underneath him, but if they want to do that, that's fine. I kind of feel like Bowman's the best, so anything underneath that, you're just working to get the Bowman. the thing that confuses the shit out of me, Joey O'Brien, the
Yeah.
third worst out of all three of those Pennsylvania kids, out of
Yeah.
Grayson, because we all remember it when it came to recruiting. We were sitting there thinking like, oh, we got Grayson, that's cool. We got the guy who Penn State was saying was their backup. If they didn't get a certain person. And then it's like, well, we still need to get O'Brien. And then we start talking like, oh, well, if we get O'Brien, we're probably going to get Kari Adams. So then we get both of them. It really felt like O'Brien was like crown jewel, especially after the on 7 or the OT7 tournament. I thought he'd be ranked. It's just so odd. I don't know how they decide it. Of course, these are rankings I've said before could truly care less about what they have ranked wise. They're showing their guys respect. If they like it, I like it. That's fine.
Well, and Rivals has been one of those sites, and I'll get Sean in here because I know Sean's got a lot to say about Joey O'Brien. Rivals has been one of the sites that's been little like not as high on Joey. That before this update, they had Joey, I want to say like at 99 or 100 exactly.
Yeah.
And so they just now moved him up into the top 50. Them and ESPN are the two that are kind of keeping him from consensus 5-star. 247 has two. Well, which I don't even know why.
ESPN still does rankings.
Which I don't know why we even take account into ESPN. They shouldn't even get a say anymore because they are so heavily.
They don't care about their rankings anymore. They'll have a guy that's a 5-star talent, and he'll be like the 238th ranked player. Like,
yeah, it's very weird. But yeah, I mean, it's so crazy to think, like you said, Ben, Joey O'Brien's not even out of the not three Pennsylvania, because Kari's from the DMV area. Out of the three guys that we got that were considered like the huge big recruitments for that 1 week, Joey's the third best according to Rivals, which I just don't get. If you watched him at all during his senior or his junior year, and then you watched him at OT7, like he looked like a man amongst the boys. And I get it, it's 7-on-7, but I mean, dude, he's a 6'6" safety who can play receiver and can play corner. It's just wild that you don't have. But then again, and I've talked about this with some other college football fans. You look at where Joey's ranked, and then you look at where other 5-star guys are, like Jet Washington. Jet Washington's ranked number 66, and he's a consensus 5-star everywhere else. Like,
see, and that's I'm looking through the rankings right now, just Notre Dame's rankings in the whole.
Yeah.
Thomas Davis Jr. is in the top 300 on Rivals, or is at least popping up top 300. Braden Robinson's in top 300. And Tiki's not in top 300, but when it comes to like industry, they're 4-star athletes.
Yeah.
That's where I'm just getting. That's where it's just I'm seeing it. I'm like, or even Noah Grubb's industry is a 4-star athlete.
Definitely, because they take the average of all of them, and even if On3 has them outside their top 300 as a 3-star, other sites having them as a 4-star bump them up for the industry rankings.
Yeah, well, it's just crazy because like Thomas Davis Sr. I mean, when we got him, that was a big get. We were like, this is huge. We didn't let Georgia take one of our biggest defensive players. Well, defensive front 7 players, of course, secondary, it's different. But the front 7 players, and then Rivals is just not putting him at all in the top 300?
Well, and Thomas Davis Jr. has been, when he committed back in January during the playoff run, when he committed, he was like a top 150 recruit.
Yeah, some recruits, when they commit, they just stop going to camps. They stop doing.
And he's just been slowly dropping ever since then.
They fall, right?
Yeah.
Which is
also they have Jonah Walton above Javion Osborne. I don't agree with that, but
they have Bubba Frazier above Devin Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Sorry, let's get into any problems with Kari ranking. I think that's pretty fair. I don't think he really moved.
No, it's great ranking
all that much. Yeah, I think he's right there on 5-star status. Kadon Finley He moved up 5 spots. He's still the 14th receiver in the class. I think he's a top 100 guy, but I'm not going to really get bent out of shape over 9 spots. I think he's obviously clearly the best receiver we have in the class. Any thoughts on Kadon? Any thoughts on Jones? I know you guys brought up Walton.
Yeah, I think that Finley should be top 100. But 9 spots, you're close enough, right? You're there. And then Walton being 120. What was he before?
He's kind of stayed around that range. I think he's been like a top 150
That's
kid.
fine. I see him as a top 10 running back, but top 100 players tough. But I definitely see him as a very good prospect. I like the ranking. He could be 150, and I still agree around there. But I think he's anywhere from 100 to 150, and I'm good with that range.
Ben?
My big thing is just Walton. I don't know if he's better than Osborne. The Kadon thing, I'm not upset about 9 because realistically, and like if they're within 10 points of something, it's just off of people's personal opinions and what they see it as, not off of really anything that they could prove. Yeah, that's really my big thing is just Walton better than Osborne. I think they're both top 10 running backs without a doubt. I just don't know. I like Osborne more as a prospect.
And I think
a lot of people thought Kedron Young was better than Anais Williams.
I still think. Never mind. That's a topic for another day.
I'm bringing it up.
Anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Kendrick Young's not catching that pass on the sideline. Penn State game.
So with the running backs, like I think Walton and Osborne are like 1A and 1B. To me, obviously, I don't think Osborne is or Osborne or Walton. Neither one of them are Jeremiah Love, right? Like they're not a clear-cut best running back in college football right now, right? Like that's what Jeremiah Love. He was a top 5 running back. He was a top 50 recruit out of high school. But the way the play styles that they play, like I see a baby Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love combo. With that being Walton being Price, Osborne being Love.
Yeah.
And so I'm not too mad with I think they're both top 10 running backs. I would probably have Osborne slightly ahead of Walton. But again, I think with running backs, it's weird because Walton is the 120 overall player, but he's the number 6 running back. So I feel like with that position, it's more like the position rank more than the national rank.
Same with quarterback.
I was going to say, realistically, the running backs this year on Rivals, they really don't. Besides for Hyder, I'm not going to attempt to say that name. Besides for him, they don't really have anyone ranked that high. They have one other 5-star. Well, they have one other guy who's ranked that would be ranked as a 5-star. The rest, it really drops off. You don't see that a lot. Usually, your top 6 running back is usually in the top 100, maybe top 80.
Yeah. I do think one thing I thought was interesting is Chasten Smith. He skyrocketed up the rankings. That was another guy that I remember when he first committed, because he's from SEC country, and he kind of committed out of the blue. And it was one of those, the early cycle Notre Dame commitments where it's a surprise. The staff didn't really know about it. And you kind of expect him to flip, right? Well, that hasn't been the case. Chasten has been one of the biggest recruiters in this class. And it's crazy to me because I don't think he gets talked about a lot by the fans. I feel like we just kind of forgot about him because we have Kari Adams, Joey O'Brien, Nick Reddish just committed. Chasten Smith is a really good corner in his own right. And I don't think enough people are talking about that.
Watch him be the best in the class, like a Leonard Moore. I mean,
that was
yeah,
that would be that. Well, who was the best corner? And Leonard Moore's
Moore's
class. It
class?
wasn't more. Well, it wasn't more, was it?
No, it
Hobbs.
wasn't. What, that was 2023?
No,
2024?
24. 24.
Hobbs.
Yeah, it was Hobbs.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Let's see. Aiden Pouncey, I feel like that's another guy that doesn't get really talked about enough.
Yeah.
Go along with Joey O'Brien and that safety duo. I like where he's ranked. I think he's a top 150 player. I'm not going to complain too much about the two spots. Gregory Patrick, love seeing him finally get some. He was a 3-star, and now he's up finally like a consensus 4-star. Really like that. He's the Michigan State legacy.
He's the only one that moved up from 3 to 4, correct?
Yes. No. Frizel.
Yep.
Frizel jumped from 3 to a 4.
That's Tyler Eifert.
Which, Ben, you did say when the show, it was a couple shows ago when Frizel committed, you did say he was going to end up being a 4-star, just based off of his offers.
I said based off of 1 to 3 things. 1, I really didn't want us to not have a 4-star tight end. I didn't think we were gonna get Primer. 2, looking at his offers, those are 4-star offers. Those are schools that realistically recruit top tight ends and they find top tight ends. And 3, looking at his highlights, he was really good. There was if these recruiting sites want to be actually true to what the stars mean, he's a top 300 player.
Ben Nichols getting love too is great.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely a top 250 player. He's 283, so I mean, I definitely like the Ben Nichols as a top 300 player.
Yeah, and getting back to the Frizel thing, I remember when I posted the graphic of him getting a prediction log to go to Notre Dame, and this was at the time. This was
your fans to start crapping on him and saying he's terrible.
This was right before. This was right before. This was I think it was right before the OV weekend. So this was before all the predictions went in. This was when a certain somebody in the Notre Dame fan base, who we still not speak about, said we were not getting another commitment ever again. This was around that time, and I posted graphic saying Notre Dame's going to land a 3-star tight end, and it blew up because everybody's like, "Oh, 3-star you. Oh, what are we going to do with the 3-star tight end? He's trash. He's blah, 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 blah. This is this Notre Dame standard." And I literally said, look at his offers, watch the film. Here we are a month later, he's committed and he's a 4-star top 300 player. People just need to chill out with the stars and stuff. It seriously does not matter. And when Ben says, that, my favorite thing Ben talks about at times, offers over stars. It legitimately, it means something, because when Iowa, Notre Dame, and Miami, the 3 teams that are known as tight end U, are your top 3, and they all want you, that screams 4-star tight end.
And that's one thing I don't think people really understand, and I'll be quiet on the stars after this. That these are made. I'm not trying to crap on the profession, because these guys work hard to get the stuff out and make good reports, but it's based off of opinions made by people who aren't the ones submitting these offers to these kids, or the ones who are currently coaching in college football. It's made off of the opinions of people on these websites that have their own, how they do their own thing, and they might be right. They could be right. At the time, Frizel might have been only a 3-star athlete in their own mind, and they might be right. He might never even be better than a 3-star athlete. He might, but we need to just calm down. It's not the end of the world if someone's a 3-star, because schools see these kids and they know how good they actually are. Go ahead, Sean.
I think that in terms of stars, I think they're important to have, especially for a fan base to see, because hypothetically, if they showed you without rankings and without stars, yes, you could see the offers, but if they're here are the 25 Notre Dame commits that are signing, and you didn't know what they were ranked or what star, you get more excited when you see a guy a Michael Mayer being a 5-star tight end coming in, and then he plays right away, and you're like, wow, this guy's great. So I love the stars for that reason. I think stars don't matter on an individual basis. Stars matter on a class basis. You don't want a class full of 3 stars, right? The teams that excel have a good blue chip ratio. I think a blue chip ratio matters, but individuals being 3 stars, the Ian Books, the Leonard Moores, the Joe Alts, doesn't matter if they're a 3 or 4 star. It doesn't, because it just depends on what happens when they get on campus. But a pure class, I do think having a good blue chip ratio matters, because you see the difference in talent with blue chip ratio teams.
Unless you're a USC
I do.
fan. I got told by a USC fan. I got told by a USC fan last night that having more commits in your class means your class is better. So
when you burn down the whole program and try to rebuild it, yeah, I guess you just bring every player you want. But I wish we went back to the time, like if you guys remember the Michael Orr movie Blindside, those kids back then, like that wasn't that long ago. That was maybe 18 years, 20 years ago. I don't know. Nick Saban was still at LSU. But those kids, they sent in their film, and then one dude critiqued it, and that was like known for like understanding football and understanding how to rank these kids high. If it's some of them were getting invited to certain like games, and then you'd be able to actually compare the players off of how well they played. Like you would see a matchup, for example, like Kari Adams versus Kadon Finley, and you'd be like, wow, Kadon Finley balled out, and he balled out against the guy who this guy has ranked in his top 50. So maybe Kadon Finley is pretty good.
Yeah. I think too, like when you think of like the sending in the tape and the viewing of talent, I think that I forgot what I was gonna say, so let's just continue. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
it's like with the different sites, it's like a podcast. Everyone can create a podcast. They gotta make podcast shit more expensive.
Yeah. Hey, I will say this. Is there anybody, if there's a recruit that you think should be in the top 300, like if you had to pick one, because I believe there's 7, maybe 7, or there might be a little more that are not in the top 300. If there's one recruit that you think should be on this list, who would it be?
Fitzgerald, without a doubt. Fitzgerald. Also, I remember I was going to say sending in tapes that I wish it was more like that when teams evaluated, and remembering that most of the highest paid players are in the NFL are 2 to 0 stars. That's what I was going to say. But yeah, Fitzgerald. I think that dude is a 4-star talent. I think he's a top 150 talent. I don't like him not being in the top 300. Well, I mean, I think Ben agrees. He said that he's arguably his favorite wide receiver in this class. So,
yeah, I think Fitzgerald, and if not Fitzgerald, probably Thomas Davis Sr. I don't know why. Or Junior. God dang it. I keep saying the wrong.
Senior's dad.
Thomas Davis Jr., yeah. Too many juniors and seniors in this world. Dang it. Name your kid something different.
It's Thomas Davis, freshman here soon.
Freshman, there you go. But yeah, I think it's insane to me he's not in the top 300, because you watch the film, you're going to sit there and tell me he's not a top 300 athlete? That's insane.
Yeah.
And maybe, and like I don't see another. We don't see another linebacker on here, so maybe it has to do with that. Maybe they're just not going to respect our linebackers because it piss us off today or something. I don't really know. And yeah, Georgia won them.
They're like, we gave them defensive line and offensive line. Let's just leave the linebacker. We don't want to get them too excited.
Yeah. I'll say this, and this is one that I'm surprised nobody mentioned. Tyler Merrill. When he committed, he was a top 100 guy. Now, he committed kind of early, too, around the same time of the playoff run. And he's one of those guys that I don't believe went to a lot of camps afterwards. I could be wrong on that. But he's a guy that, to me, he was the best offensive lineman in our class for a long time. Him being a 3-star is absolutely criminal. Is absolutely criminal. And I think another guy you could make an argument for is Braden Robinson. Just for the pure fact of, like, how many guys in the 2026 class have 10.7 100-meter dash speed?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's got to be top 5 fastest player in the class, at least. So, outside of those two guys, I think obviously, I agree, Fitzgerald. I think you can make an argument for Sullivan Garvin as well, the other offensive lineman. And I think
What about Noah Grubbs? I mean, not
Grubbs. Let's talk about Grubbs.
Yeah.
So I'm a Grubbs enthusiast, so to speak.
Those is grubs.
I don't.
Grub hub.
They would call him a grub hub.
Yeah,
Grub,
Grub Hub. Yeah.
Grub hubby.
The Rivals is treating this man like he's a G5 quarterback. He's not ranked. Like positionally, I think he's like outside the top 30. And he's a 3-star outside the top 300 quarterback. When this guy committed, he was a top 100 player, or top 150 player, and a top 10 quarterback. I get it. He didn't have like the greatest state championship game, and he didn't get invited to Elite 11. He didn't.
Yeah, which blew my mind.
And he played well at OT7. Or his team wasn't very good. I'm interested to see. We talked about this on the space that I think personally, again, this is just my opinion. I think it would have been better for him to transfer high schools because his best receiver just transferred, and his offensive line is straight dog doo-doo. And I don't think that unless he goes out there and balls out, which again I think he can, but when you don't have an offensive line and you don't have weapons, it's just gonna hurt his ranking. And I get
Why does he care about his ranking when he's already committed to a team?
he doesn't care.
That was the exact thing I was going to say. You don't do that. One, please, Noah Grubbs.
And
I don't think
transfer
you're
high
watching.
school,
But
that sets you up for transferring in college. Personally,
yeah,
I don't know.
you want to compete at the high school level where it's supposed to be somewhat easier.
If
You're
you're
not
already
going to want to
committed.
compete at the college level. And the other thing is, it doesn't matter. Who gives a damn what his ranking is? He's going to prove them all wrong when he comes and he plays well. He knows that. That's why he doesn't care. You notice that his teammate that left, he wasn't committed yet when he left. He was still trying to build up his value when he left. So
Yeah.
I don't agree with transferring out if you're a quarterback or really any position, especially if you're already committed, because you already have an agreement with the university, especially with NIL, how much you're going to get. You already have an agreement on where you're going to be for example, it's not like he's going to go to a high school and then just become a top 10 quarterback in the nation or top 10 player in the nation. It's not going to happen. And realistically, the recruiting stuff, I hate this. Well, no, it's one of the main reasons I hate the recruiting rankings is because it has to do what camp you get invited to if you're a quarterback. And when you leave it to when these certain programs to invite certain kids, they control how these quarterbacks are seen. And that's why I just don't care. I keep saying I don't care about recruiting, but this is one of the main reasons why, because it's controlled by the camps and who invites who to what. And that's my biggest problem, because these camps know they have that control.
Transferring high schools isn't a bad thing for me, uncommitted to a university. But for me, it's when you're already committed, it's why?
When you're trying to get value, it's understandable.
So,
but when you
for me,
already
let's
have
just
your
say
value.
let's say Ben is the quarterback he committed to Wake Forest, and he's at a high school in North Carolina. If he transfers high school to move his ranking up and get his tape up, that kind of gives you the feel that maybe he
He's
doesn't
trying to
want to
leave.
settle with Wake Forest, right?
Now, Sean,
I think
what if I told you this, Sean? You just named the story of Sam Hartman.
Oh my! Wow.
Because he was at a high school. And then remember, if anyone watched, what was that Netflix show called?
QB1 Beyond the Lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that. And then he went to a really shitty high school and he almost led to the state championship. And guess what? He went to Wake Forest, and guess what he did? He transferred. Now, he transferred after setting records.
If you're uncommitted, it makes sense. But or if you're committed to a lower end school trying to get a higher end offer. But if you already have a high offer, you're going into your senior year, you're not leaving Notre Dame. Like, you're not uncommitting. Like, why would you leave your high school? Or
No,
your
see, and
college?
maybe it's me because I'm thinking of the mindset.
Oh
Maybe
no,
because
it's
I've
you.
played.
There's no maybe.
I know it's definitely me. Like I've played too much college football 26
God
dynasty
damn
mode
it.
where I'm like I I'm already on my third different college because I transferred after winning a natty at Arizona, and I'm like I dealt with a season
Man,
of
bro, rookie mode that
ter-
easy nowadays?
terrible receiver play at Arizona. I'm like, yeah, when I win you guys the natty, I'm out and I'm leaving. So like I played too much college football 26. I'm like, yep, receivers are trash, offensive line's trash. I'm transferring. I'm gonna go play somewhere else. But no, like I get what you guys are saying. I was more coming from like obviously from a ranking standpoint, if he cared, which again I'm not saying he does. I just think it's disrespectful as a guy that I believe Grubbs is as good as a top 10 quarterback that he is treated the way he is with rankings. It's disrespectful. And so like for me, I don't want to
You
see
take it
his
personally.
ranking. I don't want to see his ranking continue to drop because he doesn't have the best high school team around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think meet in the middle. If they say 30, we think top 10. I'm okay with top 20. I do think he's anywhere from the personally, I think he's anywhere from the 12th best to 17th best quarterback in the country. That's not a knock. How many quarterbacks in this country? I think he's super talented, right? I think
Yeah.
CJ Carr was top 10. I think he's good. So I think like the 12 to 17 range is where he should be in terms of quarterback ranking. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback this year. But I think he's a very, very, very good quarterback that should be a 4-star and could have a good career at Notre Dame.
It also just drives me up a wall because there are people in our group chat that for whatever reason are just
Haters.
Grubhub haters.
Yeah, they like
And
Well, you
DoorDash and stuff.
gotta remember those people are also the ones who say, "Oh, I watch film," and then when you ask to say a certain play that really ticked you off, they said the one where he got sacked. What? The one where he got
Through the interception.
it's the one where he threw. It's the one where he missed the throw. Broad, thank you.
like, and then it makes it worse when like Diabell is the number one
Oh
quarterback
Jesus!
in class.
Don't even get
And
me
that-
started on how bad these quarterback
God.
rankings are. Ryder Lyons, if he or Ryder Lion, yeah, I'm saying Lion. Screw it. If he didn't choose BYU, he'd still be number one. But because On3 is stupid and they're beyond dumb, he's not number one because he has to go do a mission because he's doing a mission retreat for 18 months.
I love that we're seeing Houston and seeing some of these schools.
Smaller schools.
Texas Tech, BYU. What's crazy is BYU getting a 5-star, Texas Tech getting these 5 stars with NIL. This could be the, we talked about the 2 super conferences. If the Big 12 continues to recruit and play well, maybe the Big 12.
The Big Three.
The Big Three, like maybe because
BYU
getting a 5-star is crazy.
There's been talk right now that the Big 12 might try to buy some teams off the ACC.
Where'd you pull that? Your ass? I haven't heard shit about that.
I pulled that out of Texas Tech's ass. That's what they're saying on Twitter.
Yeah.
Hey,
Texas Tech use their oil money and buy these teams. That's what they said.
So wait a minute. So for a quick question, Ohio State, the whole meme heading into last year was, you better win a natty, $20 million roster. Well, Texas Tech has $28 million roster. Better win a natty, right?
Better win a bowl game.
Michigan's roster's probably worth $30 million because of the quarterback. So
Bryce Underwood's got toilet paper worth $12 million. Like,
they paid their quarterback $14 million. I mean, I think that's why they couldn't afford $4 million for a receiver. That's why.
What is that thing that came out about NIL saying a school, 18 or 20 million? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
It's like they'll get like, so let's say if a school doesn't want to use their own endowment, the school can use 18 to 20 million dollars through a revenue sharing to pay players.
Like boosters?
Or like through revenue sharing of college football.
Okay. Yeah.
They have to sign on to it for a certain amount. So like for example, Texas Tech, who has all this oil money, can't sign on to do it. because they'll miss out all the money they have on oil money, and they'd lower the cost of their team. But a team like Iowa can do it, even though they don't have great boosters.
That's great for teams with no boosters, but teams like Notre Dame, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our final topic.
It's basically just to make it so teams don't just get boosters and then they're how much fair. Okay, go ahead.
Let's get into our final topic. Obviously, we did Miami, kind of early thoughts, preview. Now we're on to A&M. How are we feeling? Because I know I've said, and we'll do our season prediction, like our record prediction and everything when we get closer to the season. But I've said I think the ceiling for this team is 11-1, because I do think that it's very hard for any team to go undefeated. We saw last year Oregon was the only team to go undefeated. I just think it's with today's NIL transfer portal, that how everything's kind of equalized. I just think it's very hard. So I know we all said we all think that we're going to beat Miami week 1. Heading in A&M, are you more confident that we beat A&M than you are Miami, or the opposite?
I do. Not saying right now in the conversation. It is worth talking the Shamir Stewart situation, because we do play Texas A&M. So I do want to talk about that.
We can.
He can't play.
But
I've had people try to tell me he can. We'll get into it.
By the NCAA rules, he can't.
Ben's about to destroy something. His eyes.
Well, no, I had to explain this to so many people today that he's not allowed to play. This is like the 8th time I've had to do it.
Well, I'm just for viewer purposes, right? But
I know. Yeah.
I
have no problem explaining it now. I'm just saying I just want to.
Beating Miami, Carson Beck coming back from a Tommy John surgery. Talent-wise, I am confident. However, I am more confident beating Texas A&M this year than I am last year. I picked us to beat A&M, but you beat A&M at their yard with a running back at quarterback, and you beat them over 100,000 fans. Now you're home. You're home. A quarterback that's already going to have a starter 2 under his belt, right?
Yeah.
And you return the same defense. They lost talent. We're now playing Marcel Reed, though, instead of
Connor Wigwam.
Yep. So that we'll see how that goes. But I'm more confident beating Miami. I wonder. I think y'all are probably the same boat. I do think we beat A&M, though. I think we beat Miami and A&M, and if or when we do lose a game, it's going to be a slip up like a Arkansas or a Pittsburgh or something like that. So I do think we win both big games on our schedule. I mean, are you more nervous, Ben? I mean, Texas A&M is more talented than Miami. I mean, let's be real.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm more nervous based off of the actual pure football, what we're going to see, than Miami, because I think Miami, realistically, they're a team that's going to be a great ACC team, but a pure football team with competing at a high level, I don't know. We're going to have to see a lot of them. And it's got to be one of those games early on. We might not be able to see that of them at that point. But who knows? It's like one of those things like, play a team week 1, play a team week 12. You're going to see a big difference in how that team plays. So I would more – and it really – my decision on if we're going to win, I think it's going to be how Carr plays in week 1. If Carr goes out there and does fine, I think we have a better chance of winning. And if he goes out there, it struggles, you're going to have to play the idea of maybe you should use Kenny Minchie.
Well,
if Carr's struggling and it's something, it's like, Kenny could do better than that. If it's running and read options and that stuff, if Carr's not doing well there, then yeah.
I had this conversation with my brother-in-law today. We talked about, college football or just teams being ranked high in general. You look at Alabama, we talked about who do they have at quarterback, running back. We look at, Oregon, they have Dante Moore, but they have a running back while he's young. Yes, CJ Carr's young and inexperienced. We don't need him to throw the ball 30 times a day when you have Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
the run game is established. He's going to be fine. I mean, he should be able to do what we need him to do. If he's that bad, I mean, then we're going to be talking.
Well, my big thing is though, like we could say like, oh, he might not even have to throw the ball more than 20 times in those first 2 games, but it's when we need him to throw the ball, he has to step up because we cannot. Because Miami, what they will do, they are just going to stack the box, and it'll probably have the same outcome. I don't think Miami's run defense will be as good, but realistically, that front seven does scare me just because they brought in so much. It seems like they're working it. So I think realistically, if Carr comes out and he just does what he needs to do, he makes the plays when we need him to make. He doesn't need to make every play. He has to make 4 or 5 plays and we'll win those games.
Yes,
but if it comes out and he doesn't do that, then I will have to be scared a little bit.
First drive of the game, I think you don't even establish a run. I think you throw the ball.
Like a shot.
If you have a good drive, then you establish the run. But I mean, I'm just saying the luxury of having Jeremiah and Jadarian. Like, if it's like, all right, we're at halftime, we're down 17-10, Penn State game, just start establishing the run. And I think we'll be fine. I
think the thing is, if we're down at halftime, I think it's because one, our O line's not holding up. I think we're gonna have to tell our running backs what we told them in the Penn State game. The holes are not coming. Make the holes, find the holes, and just bash straight through. You're gonna create the holes yourself, and that's what we did in the Penn State game. And that's what opened it up more. And it turns out we're gonna learn Marcel Reed if you ask the Texas A&M fans. So
yeah,
we'll see how that
goes. Marcel Reed. I will say this: one thing I am worried about with the A&M game is you lose Kaiser, you lose Watts, you lose Mills and Cross on the inside. That's a lot of experience. And the one thing I do have, like, the defense, I think this year is going to be better in terms of like the ceiling, because while I think like the experience of Mills, Cross, and and Kaiser and Watts helps, I think the ceiling of the younger guys we have below them, they're more athletic, they're more like they have higher upside. They're younger, faster, quicker, more athletic. And because those were the last of the Brian Kelly guys. And the one thing, though, that concerns me is Marcel Reed's ability to run. The one thing Notre Dame did not face a lot last year, and you can say Navy and Army, but I think that's two completely different things because that's Navy and Army's specific offense. We got 2 Bens. Hold on. There we go.
The reason the internet today just does not want to be my friend. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good. We have not faced a true running threat. Like, this defense has not seen that. The closest thing we've seen is a Navy and Army offense, which, again, that's all they do is run. And the closest thing maybe was Will Howard running a little bit in that, but like Marcel Reed is way more athletic than Will Howard. So that scares me a little bit because when you have young, hungry, athletic linebackers, they can get their eyes lost in the backfield sometimes, over pursue. And Marcel Reed does have that game-breaking ability with his legs like we had with Riley last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the roles are reversed a little bit.
Exactly.
With the game. They have an offense that's going to be specifically run-heavy and focused on utilizing Marcel Reed's legs, and he can't pass the ball, kind of like how Riley was. Now, Riley was a way better passer than Marcel Reed. Don't get me wrong.
And you think Marcel Reed is a worse passer than Riley?
Yes. Have you?
That's on Riley.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing. Marcel Reed has a hard time completing a screen pass. So
also, are you saying Riley Reed or Riley Leonard when you say that?
Marcel Reed. But anyway,
you said you combined the names there for a second. You kept combining the names.
Are you guys a little concerned about that because we just haven't seen it?
Yeah, I mean, we have guys on the defense like Jalen Sneed who's faced holy shit, that's a tongue twister. Yeah. Who's faced Caleb Williams, right? That's I know true. You're trying to say it in your head, Ben. And you've got guys like Schuler, I'm pretty sure has, or Bowen's been playing a while for us. So I mean, And then you got guys like Rubio inside, Dawson, right?
Dawson
We're
did,
losing
yeah.
those guys. Dawson in the ACC, I'm sure, has faced a few.
He played against Thomas Castellanos, who was a mainly running quarterback. Yeah.
He's got
He
experience.
played against us.
Yeah, played against us.
Yeah,
he
you're
did.
right. So, we got guys in the room. I mean, yeah, I agree. Watt's the big one. Kaiser's the big one too. But the defensive line with you got Howard Cross, and then you got
Mills is gone.
But you're replacing with Dawson, and then
Rubio.
you have Rubio, and then you
Anye.
have Anye and coming back, and then maybe Sean Silvano steps up. And I meant to say Kaiser. Losing Kaiser's a big one, but I mean, I trust our linebackers. I'm not concerned about them one bit. So it's mainly, like we said, defensive line. But if Dawson has the experience and you got a guy like Rubio who could switch with Anye and whoever's hotter is hot, I mean, I am worried about that, Ryan. I'm not saying I'm not, but I think that they will be prepared. Because, I mean, you're right. It's different with Army and Navy because you can over pursuit because they're going to run the ball. Right?
Yeah. Like, it's different. Like, and that's the thing. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, I just feel like realistically, well, not realistically because we are looking at realistically, but if we look at how we saw that Texas A&M game last year, we knew we were going to be more of a run-heavy team, but we thought Riley was going to have enough time just working with the wide receivers that we're going to be able to rely on the pass. I don't even think A&M believes they can rely somewhat on the pass. Marcel Reed. It would not shock me if he throws the ball maybe 8 times or 10 times.
I don't think
like
that our defense, I agree, potential-wise is better, but most turnovers in college football, I don't see that happening again. Right?
Yeah, it won't happen again. Man. But I do think we're replacing Kaiser with 2 kids who played a lot last year. The only thing I'm scared about is replacing Watts because that's just a guy ball hawk level, athlete level. Like, he's amazing. But we are replacing him. The linebacker-wise, we're replacing him with guys who played a lot last year. So I hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, we lost a guy who led our team in games. It's like,
you got KVA.
We got
a big deal. It's a leader. But
I think it also helps having Schuler. Like, losing Watts, because Watts wasn't a box safety. He was more of that, robber. And I think having Schuler, like, I feel like if we would have lost Schuler, I'd be more concerned about starting a new box safety against a running quarterback and a heavy run team than I would a robber safety because the box is. But the thing that worries me is just Le'Veon Moss for how good our defense
second level.
For how good our defense was last year. If you go back and watch that A&M game, A&M realistically would have had a better chance of winning that game had they stuck with the run. They got way too far confident in Connor Wigman's ability to pass the ball. If they would have they were averaging 6 yards a carry. Let that sink in. Yeah. Like, we were not stopping them. They got back in the game because Le'Veon Moss ran for 20-plus yards.
I will say, I agree. I think, too, Christian Gray's top 3 game we've seen him in, I feel, was A&M last year. So I think that if you're facing a run-heavy team and a guy that could be aggressive, we talked about his aggressiveness. Maybe that's a game he shines because, he knows they're going to run. He's going to bite more, or a game he might not shine. But, I mean, I do think that, they ran over us, but that was a week 1. This whole team has another year of experience. We pretty much returned everyone on defense. Those were a lot of young guys on defense. Bowen was young. KVA was young. It's just I think that with the whole year under their belt of playing, they're going to come different too, right?
It also worries me because if you were to, like you said, come down because you're thinking Moss is going to run the ball, then you're susceptible to the read option game, which I wonder how much when we did have Riley on the team and we did practice because we weren't facing so many teams that could run the style of offense that we ran. How much of it in practice did we have Riley run the read option and run our old offense against our defense?
Like, pray to God we did not hit our quarterback during practice.
That's what but I'm not saying hit him. I'm just saying let the defense see let the defense see the formation of us running a read option with Riley. Like,
What's the one day call where they put the punter at quarterback and they just have him start launching
They'll
balls
use
into
Tyler
double
Buckner.
coverage?
They'll
Tyler
use Tyler
Buckner.
Buckner in
That's
practice.
perfect.
yes,
Have him
Tyler
earn
Buckner.
that scholarship. Well, no, Tyler Buckner is going to start week 1. Didn't you guys know that?
Yeah,
Only
totally.
I
quarterback
heard
ever
the
to throw
rumor is the same
get
guy
7
that said there was
touchdowns.
black jerseys. Same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the swim coach, right? The swim coach.
Yeah.
Hey, I do have a fun topic I'll tell you for next week off camera
Yeah,
when
go
we're
ahead.
done, but off camera, I'll tell you for
Okay.
next week.
Yeah, I do want to say this though.
But realistically, if we look at this game, it doesn't matter. We're losing to Purdue week 4 because that's what's going to happen. Like, get through the hard part and then make it harder by losing to a terrible team.
Like obviously the running game is one thing. I do think though A&M so I think we're more likely to lose the A&M game just because I think A&M in the trenches is built more to beat Notre Dame than Miami is. I do think again, I think Miami is a game we could lose because it's on the road at night, hostile environment. Starting a freshman quarterback. I do think but I think what's more likely, we beat Miami and we come home and we lose to A&M.
But we've already played at Hard Rock in a bowl game last year in a sold-out game.
That's true. We are technically own the Orange Bowl right now.
Notre Dame usually does not do good at Hard Rock, but we played there last year. We were there in a sold-out game, which is probably, I mean, if it is, it'll probably be majority Notre Dame fans. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Hey, but Sean, remember what happened?
Do I need to explain why Shamar Stewart can't play this game? Why he can't play this season? Or
let's just go ahead and get the Shamar Stewart shit out of the way.
Wait, Ryan, what'd you say though, real quick?
I said, well, remember 2017. That's what Miami fans keep telling me. They're going to beat us this year because the last time we came down there, we got our ass beat. So that means it's going to happen.
That was a ghost game. Weird. I really felt we were better than them. They were barely beating teams, but yeah.
Then they lost to Pitt the very next week, by the way.
So Shamar Stewart cannot play. I don't know why we have this idea. It's in the NCAA rulebook. Once you are drafted by an NFL team, your eligibility is shot. You cannot play anymore in college football.
He can practice with the team.
He can practice with the team.
Drafted, right? Yeah.
Yes. So all he's doing, he's going to be the first, if this actually happens, he's going to be the first player that I could find in my research in the new draft era of the players like actually fully being drafted. Like it's not contract negotiation beforehand. He'll be the first player in that era to be drafted twice if he gets drafted again, because I guess there's a rule in the NFL where if you never show up to training camp and you're never training under a full contract, you'd be drafted again. But he cannot play in college football. It's not allowed. It says in NCAA rulebook, once you're drafted by a pro team, even if you don't sign the contract, you are not allowed to be drafted. All your eligibility runs out and you're not allowed to play anymore.
What's it with the Bengals still having his rights though? I saw something like that.
So let's say hypothetically, if I'm correct on this, and this is through like tiny bit of research, hypothetically, if he were to not get drafted, the Bengals could still pick him up. Like next season comes along, he could still be picked up. If let's say he doesn't get drafted, Bengals come to him like, okay, you saw you're not it's not always greener on the other side. Do you still want to come here? We'll give you, and realistically, they could offer him a lesser contract. And he might be forced to take it, but no other team can even. He has to be drafted. He cannot be an unsigned free agent.
But it said
he can't be an unsigned rookie.
If a college football player eligible for eligibility is drafted by an NFL team and returns to college, the drafting club retains exclusive negotiation rights. Oh, that's why he's practicing at college.
Yes, that's why he can't play because of the negotiation rights. But so next year he can't just be an undrafted free agent. He has to be drafted, and the new rights will be transferred over to whatever team drafts him. And I think it would be hilarious if the Bengals drafted him again.
This entire situation, though, it only started, and there's so much confusion because this same damn account made it sound like
he's coming back and playing.
Yeah, he could come back and play for A&M. And the amount of people like you I've argued with on this damn post saying, well, no, he can't. He has eligibility left. I said, if that was the case, everybody that wasn't happy with the rookie contract
or undrafted.
or undrafted would just go back to
We'll go
college.
back.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, that's not true. I was like, these rules are, they're like, well, if he wanted to, he can go back to school. I'm like, yeah. They're like, and then somebody's
You
like,
could do
well,
that even if you're playing.
I'm like, he's like, and then I had somebody say he wouldn't be practicing with A&M if he didn't know he couldn't play with them. I said, anybody could show up to a college football field and practice with a team.
Jamar Chase
Like-
was still practicing with LSU, and he wasn't playing with LSU.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like,
Bengals, I want to say this, though. Like, people shit on the – and, yes, I do think it's on both. I'm not saying otherwise, especially when you sign Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Burrow to what you have and you have no cap room to sign anyone else. You're idiots, right? But when you know that a guy has baggage in a draft and there's other defensive linemen there, yes, it's on them for drafting them, but it's also on the – I mean, I think it's – you know a guy has issues, and it's also maybe if the guy has issues, maybe he needs to work on his fucking self. Like, it's also on him. It's also on Stewart for being a piece of shit sometimes, right? Like, I think that
realistically, this problem could have been very easily avoided if they were open with each other from the very beginning. It turns out Shamar Stewart lied during his draft interview as well.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking to him, and it turns out he lied, like openly lied to the Bengals about stuff.
Piece of shit. Like, I mean, just saying, if you didn't do that, everyone's like, oh, Shamar Stewart's a victim. Like, maybe.
So what's the whole thing? What's the whole thing?
Person,
so I don't know the entire. I know that a lot of second-round picks are doing the holdout shit.
That's because of the Texans signing the first ever second-round pick to a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
So now
blame the Texans for it. So, okay, Texans' fault. Got it. But anyway, with this, what is the whole thing?
It's Texans' fault.
What's the thing with Stewart? So is he not happy with the money that he's getting?
He's not happy. He doesn't want to be incentive based a lot. Well, the problem is with the Bengals in their cap space, they're trying not to skirt a cap space. So they're trying to be incentive based a lot of this contract. And the thing is, the incentives should realistically be in something in this contract. One of the incentives is legitimately showing up to training camp.
Yes. There's also something in it, I think, not getting in trouble. That's why I said the piece of shit thing. I don't actually think he's a piece of shit person. I'm saying
I think he's just making bad decisions.
But if for me, it's like, hey, we have in your contract an incentive that says, hey, if you don't get in trouble, you'll get your money. Here, I'm not going to sign it because I don't want an incentive to say, do you plan on getting in trouble, dumbass? Like, maybe just keep your nose clean. Don't get in trouble and you'll get your money. No, because it says if I get in trouble, I won't get my money. Well, don't get in trouble. It's that easy. Like, I just don't understand. The
and you know what's
crazy?
What's crazy is that, so like, and again, like I said, I've been in arguments with people on this tweet all day, mostly NFL fans that don't watch college football and don't understand how things work. And they're like, well, what he could do is he could just go back to college, he'd sit out a year, and he could he could go to court against the NCAA, and he would most likely win, and he would get to play.
He is not winning that. Not a fucking shot.
When you can get drafted next year, and if the NCAA changed that rule, that would completely change the landscape.
It would ruin college football. It would ruin college. If you allowed Shamar Stewart to just go to the draft, be a first-round pick, have a team waste a first-round draft pick, by the way, which the NFL, if this happens, the NFL is going to make an example of Shamar Stewart. So this never happens again, because that's a lot of money that would have just been wasted on a first-round pick.
The Bengals should get another pick, I think.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I think it's both sides of the spec. Like, it's both sides here. The Bengals are all openly saying, like, we're not going to pay you. Like, we're going to try to get around the system here, if that's what they're trying to do, which, every team does it, but the NFL doesn't like that. So I don't completely agree, but I do think what he's doing is a little fucked. Here's a quote from Shamar Stewart.
I'm saying a compensation pick, like a 6th round.
Yeah.
If he were to walk away.
This is a quote from Shamar Stewart on the situation. He said, "I'm not asking for nothing. Y'all never done before." Stewart told reporters Tuesday, referencing the Bengals, but in y'all case, y'all just want to win arguments more than winning games.
Why would you want that on your team already as a rookie? I would not sign him.
Why would you even say that? You're in a contract dispute. You're trying to make the team give you a contract you like. Why would you go and shit on them? It turns out,
I
and
say it's both sides. Yes, the Bengals are shit with their money, and they shouldn't have drafted him, and this and that. And the Bengals are a bad organization for some of that stuff. But it's also on him for the stuff he said, the stuff he doesn't want in his contract for like certain things, for incentives, and stuff he's done. Like, not saying he's done a lot of bad stuff. I'm just saying, like, small stuff, like saying stuff like that.
Sean, would you be surprised if Shamar Stewart was the one that was kind of putting out the, hey, you don't give me what I want, I'll just sit out and I'll go back to college. I'll go play back at Texas A&M. I would not be surprised if he doesn't understand the own rules about that. And
so I'm just looking at, like, because while searching this, because I wanted to find the exact quote that he made, because I found it this morning when I was looking at it. I found another article by Cincinnati Inquirer. It's a big sport or big news report here in Cincinnati. Kelsey Conway, she's pretty good at reporting. The Bengals openly said they don't believe he's going to do it. They said that if he does it, then it's career suicide. They don't believe he's going to do it.
So he's just calling his bluff, basically.
Yeah, they're calling his bluff. They're like, we don't think you're going to do it. If you want to do it, try and do it.
Well,
and guess what? You go undrafted next year because teams aren't going to draft a guy who's already been a pain in the ass, for one. And two, they're not going to draft a guy who hasn't played in a year. Especially when, like...
Not a lot of people... Like, let's talk about this if he does opt out. There is only one person, maybe two, but one person that I've seen opt out do good, and that's Jamar Chase. Whether it's you're already in the NFL, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. Even if people are suspended, Deshaun Watson was suspended or hurt a full year, comes back, he sucks. Or people who opt out and then play, nobody ever does good. Nobody. And he acts like he's a Myles Garrett level player. I think
he didn't even do anything at A&M.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's elite. I mean, like, I think he'll be a solid.
He got drafted off. He was a first-round draft pick based off of potential. Go look at his numbers and his time at A&M. He did nothing. Nick Skirton did more than him, and Shamar Turner did more than him. Like, he's already on a thin line because a team took a chance on you. Not based off of your production, but based off of your athletic ability and your potential. And you're sitting here walking in like you're Myles Garrett, demanding to be treated like such. And you know what? Think about this. How do you think the teammates on this Bengals team are going to look at him if he does show up to camp?
Yeah. Some of them,
some of them shouldn't talk any shit because they're doing the same fucking thing. They're throwing the same shit. Hendricks shouldn't say anything because he's doing the same thing. It's just that he's a pro.
For me too, you're a rookie. You haven't done anything in the NFL yet. Like, I get negotiating contracts. I'm not saying otherwise, but when you're a rookie and you haven't proved yourself, why are you demanding incentives and money? How about you sign your contract, make millions more than most people make, and then when you prove yourself that you're good, then get that money and incentive. Yeah. You haven't proved anything yet.
And really quick, let's get back on track a little bit, just to kind of bring this back to Notre Dame. For him to, like, the getting back to the argument of, well, he can take this to court. The NCAA's lost every court battle.
He's not going to be able to play, dude.
And I'm like, first of all, we are a little over a month away from the season starting, so there is not enough time for you to get a court case started for him to play this year. Second of all, the NCAA, you think they're fighting Michigan hard. You think they fought Tennessee hard. The NCAA, with this one rule, would fight the hardest they've ever fought since they gave SMU the death penalty for this rule.
So the thing is, the whole thing to NCAA, we go back, and of course I know more firsthand experience on it from going to UC. But when we got Aziz Bandango, we got him in June of the season, going into that season, early June. The NCAA did not approve him playing until the 10th game of the season in December. Yep. You think they're gonna be able to get through a whole court case in a month alone? Has got to decide how long until they even set a date for it. If it probably 3 months alone 3 months alone to get like not even jurors, but people who have open side. If you're gonna get a judge to do it, I guarantee you the judge is gonna say yes, because he's gotta say, why'd you not take the $8 million contract and the $6 million in incentives? One of the incentives is legit show up to freaking work.
Or the judge is just going to point to the NCAA ruling that Jamar Stewart would be aware of. Hey, once you enter the draft, whether you are drafted or not, you
cannot replay.
Unconditionally, you forfeit any rights you had to any eligibility you had remaining. And that is something you know when you sign the papers to enter the draft. He knowingly signed that. And so that, again, they would just immediately get thrown out because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to – now, if he wants to sit out and go back to school at A&M, get his degree, good for him. Good for you. Like, we've seen I guess Barry Sanders did that, right? Cool. But again, he is – for the people that think he can just go back and be all hunky-dory and just go lace it up for A&M, that he can't do that. And that will never be allowed. And that is the one thing that I don't think courts, and I don't think NIL, and I don't think transfer portal, that is the one part of college football that will never change.
Yeah. Do you we get any comments, or what's our viewership?
And we're at 300
no
people.
Well, no, if you check your Twitter, you do see 229 said let that sink in, and there was a picture of a sink outside the door.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Hey. Oh my God. All right.
Is your fridge running?
So, get final thoughts on A&M.
Running.
Final thoughts on A&M. What do we think? Do we think Notre Dame gets that one?
Yeah, we win. I think we win both those games. We slip up to a team we shouldn't slip up to.
Purdue week 4.
Okay.
God.
No, I think.
It's not that we lost.
Coming to town, brother, and they're gonna go wild on you, brother.
All right, Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
We're gonna man. I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna beat Miami. We're gonna beat
Notre Dame. We're gonna beat Notre Dame.
We're
gonna beat ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna lose to our bye week in between. No,
so let's see. Last year.
Yeah,
we had a close one in their bye week.
Hey, man. Show up to the A&M game. Hey guys, can you go a little easy on us this week? The bye week was
really rough. Next week.
Yeah, we got our asses kicked. We had exams.
No, man, I will say this.
The thing is, it's the only school that can get away with that. Only top school.
Because we don't play a MAC team this year, so it's got to be Boise, right? Like if we lose to a G5 team, it's got to be Boise.
I think it's.
If we lose to Boise, yeah, but I trap game Arkansas. Best chance.
Yeah. USC's tough too. To be honest, if I picked any team like that, I'm more confident beating A&M and Miami than USC. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good show, boys. We went up for about an hour and a half. Got through a lot of stuff. I think this was a good show. They're all the
next week, Ryan tape.
Yeah, 299 people watching. We had the 300th person just dip. So yeah, if you want,
I'm saying.
No, that was Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart got that random tweet. That's why he hops in. He's like, "Fuck these guys, fucking weirdos."
He's like, "What they got to say?" Oh, now I'm going to sue the NCAA because they don't think they can. Yeah. Texas A&M.
He's not suing the NCAA. He's suing Ryan Frabel. He's pulling a Mike Singer. He's got to sue Ryan Frabel.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For the 299 people watching, go over to the Voice of College Football. Drop a sub, and share. We go live now every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. But as always, guys, I have been your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-hosts Ben and Sean. Go follow us on the Twitter. You can find Sean at ND Forever on Twitter and mine at Fravel_Ryan on Twitter as well. We will be back next week. As always, stay safe and go Irish.
Go Irish.